Live from the CBS Bay Area studios, this is KPIX 5 News.
Now on KPIX 5 News at 6, Fleet Week is underway. San Francisco is hosting the largest parade of ships on the West Coast.
Plus a brush fire in Napa County putting people on edge as we approach the 2-year anniversary of the wine country wildfires.
And a second whistleblower is coming forward now, ramping up the impeachment investigation. This morning, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are responding.
Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, October 7th. I'm Michelle Griego.
I'm Kenny Choi. It is 6 o'clock on the dot. We are warming up yet again. Mary's got your forecast.
That's right, Kenny and Michelle. Temps, especially inland, will warm up to the upper 80s to about 90 degrees, so even warmer compared to yesterday. Although we're going to start to see a light onshore flow kick in for the coast, and that means temps for the coast will be cooler. But we do have a spare the air alert in effect for today. The air quality unhealthy for sensitive groups for the East Bay, Santa Clara Valley, moderate air quality for the North Bay, good air quality for the rest of the Bay Area. Let's take you through the day and what you can expect. 90 for high in Concord and Fairfield, 89 Livermore, 87 in San Jose, 82 in Oakland, and 77 for San Francisco. We'll talk about what you can expect. Of course, we have Fleet Week. Excited about that. Details coming up. Gianna?
All right, well, we've got some troubles as you work your way towards the Bay Bridge this morning, getting first reports of a crash westbound 580 right at the East Shore Freeway. That's as you work your way into the maze this morning, so that is certainly going to slow you down. Busy anyway for that area. So sluggish conditions coming off of 580 now. We're starting to see the East Shore Freeway slow down as well on that westbound side. We'll keep an eye on that. It's over to the shoulder. Doesn't look like it's blocking any lanes. Bay Bridge busy anyway as you work your way from the toll plaza. A little slow past the metering lights as well. Gets a lot better heading into San Francisco. Elsewhere, another portion of 580. This is westbound near 106th Avenue. Looks a little more like 98th based on our maps here. We're getting reports of a broken down vehicle that was hit by a second vehicle. It's now an accident, and we're now seeing a delay behind it. So a little slow as you work your way westbound there. All right, trouble spot here, East Shore Freeway right at Alamo Drive on the eastbound side. We've got the left lane blocked for a crash. Westbound getting busy anyway as you work your way in and out of Vacaville this morning. And Highway 4 to the maze on 80 will take you 20 minutes.
I'm Ann McApick at the Live News Desk, and let's go live to San Jose, where police are continuing to investigate a deadly stabbing. And new information, it looks like more than 2 people may have been involved in this fight that led to the stabbing. It happened at around 9:30 on Alum Rock Avenue. This is near a gas station on 33rd. The man who died was stabbed at least once, and he was taken to the hospital where he did pass away. So Alum Rock is still blocked off there, very close to 101. And at this point, no suspect has been identified. Police are reviewing surveillance tape from that area. Back to you.
And thank you. Happening today in just a few hours, members of the armed forces are arriving in San Francisco. The city's popular Fleet Week is back in town. KPIX 5's Katie Nielsen is live at Pier 27 on what officials say they are doing to keep the public safe. Good morning, Katie.
Hey, good morning, Michelle. So as you mentioned, members of the military here this morning, it's all part of an emergency preparedness drill that's happening today to kick off all of this week's Fleet Week festivities. Now, with us now is Lieutenant Sam Wu. He's out of Camp Pendleton. You're with the U.S. Marine Corps. Yes, and tell us a little bit about how the Marine Corps would actually help the city in the case of a major disaster like an earthquake.
Yeah. So the Navy Marine Corps team is the most adaptable, capable force in the world. So, and one of the reasons why we're so good at our job is we train, we practice so hard. Essentially, this is just another practice run. We're working with the city, Department of Emergency Management, Navy, Marine Corps, got everyone here. In case there's a worst case scenario in San Francisco, this is what we're trained for. And one of the thing we're focused on this year is debris removal and route clearing. So in case there is the worst case scenario, how do we help the city of San Francisco get back on its feet, open its roads back up, get back to normal?
Which is pretty incredible because the city is one of the only ones that does this. I think only Los Angeles and New York are the only other 2 that do some type of a drill in addition to Fleet Week itself. Now, I know a lot of people are really excited about the events coming up, the parade of ships, and of course the Blue Angels. But what's your favorite part of Fleet Week in San Francisco?
Honestly, we're all just I'm happy to be in San Francisco. We were just in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska. It's beautiful, but it was very cold. I live in Southern California, so I'm very glad to be back here where it's warm and there's, just hang out in San Francisco, hang out with you guys, just to be here, to be honest.
And then tell us a little bit about the humanitarian aid camps that are going to be set up along Marina Green so that people can actually check those out this weekend. That's part of what you guys are doing here with the Marine Corps as part of Fleet Week.
Yeah, so essentially it's just a display of kind of like a possibility of what we would bring in a worst case scenario. So the things that we could do to clear the routes, open the roads, the trucks to move personnel and everything. And you can meet the sailors and the Marines that work with the equipment, ask them questions. It'll be a good show.
All right, perfect. Well, Lieutenant Wu, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
You.
Really appreciate it. Again, that debris cleanup happening this morning, that's the drill. If you see it around the waterfront, that's what that is. Parade of ships happening Friday, and then, of course, the Blue Angels Air Show taking place this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. But if you hear them flying around, they're going to be practicing Thursday and Friday. Live in San Francisco, Katie Nielsen, KPIX 5.
This week marks the 2-year anniversary of the wine country wildfires. 44 people were killed in the Tubbs, the Nuns, and the Pocket Fire. Now Solano County isn't taking any chances. Community members came out to a wildfire preparedness meeting yesterday. The goal, learn about defensible space and evacuation plans. They even want to create the county's first fire-safe council.
Don't get lulled in a false sense of security that, hey, it hasn't been very active this year. It's because we're just one fire away from, something that mirrors 2017.
It was like an apocalypse. It was very, very strange, very scary. I hope we never have to go through it again.
CAL FIRE stresses it's not a matter of if, but when another major fire impacts the Bay Area. They are asking everyone to stay alert and be prepared.
6:06 right now. Some families along the Napa and Solano County lines are back in their homes this morning. An evacuation advisory has been lifted after fire crews got the upper hand on a fast-moving fire. The grass fire broke out in the hills west of I-80 in American Canyon yesterday afternoon. Firefighters worked overnight to make sure that the American fire didn't flare up again. So far, officials say that one structure has been destroyed, but the fire is finally slowing down after torching nearly 530 acres. Neighbors joined the intense battle as well after seeing the flames jump towards their backyards.
And I saw the fire on the fence there, so I called a couple of the neighbors who was about to leave. I said, you don't leave, let the family go, and let's hose it down.
Always be ready. I always tell people leave early as you can. That's the best way to be.
And officials say that both man-made and natural fire breaks played a big role in keeping the fire contained. At last check, the blaze is just 30% contained this morning, but forward progress has stopped.
Looking live at the White House this morning, President Trump now says a new whistleblower is part of the quote-unquote witch hunt against him. An attorney says his client has firsthand knowledge of President Trump's dealings with Ukraine, and he's made a, quote, protected disclosure under the law and cannot be retaliated against.
He got his information, I guess, second or third hand.
Let's see what else actually that really means, that you've got somebody else coming forward.
Meanwhile, there is still no evidence of wrongdoing by the Bidens. Democrats say the president is abusing the power of his office, but Republicans stood by Mr. Trump.
So we have Trump appointees who are clearly unnerved by the lawlessness of this president.
When he's trying to decide how American tax dollars are going to be spent and what countries they're actually going to go to, it's his job to make sure there's not corruption.
Meanwhile, lawmakers moving forward with their impeachment inquiry will continue to hear from witnesses throughout the week. The White House may tell House Democrats it will refuse to hand over documents until the House formalizes the impeachment inquiry with a formal vote.
And then I don't need to tell you all what we've been watching in the news for the last week or so. I mean, yes, so my background is as a prosecutor, and I'm going to tell you something. I can recognize a confession when I see one.
Senator Kamala Harris commenting on the impeachment inquiry and how President Trump has been reacting. Yesterday, she campaigned at Iowa State University. The senator is also on the cover of this month's Time magazine, but the high-profile placement doesn't appear to be helping her numbers in the race. A new Fox News poll of South Carolina primary voters showing Harris at just 4%, tied with another Californian, billionaire Tom Steyer. They're behind Bernie Sanders, who has 10%, Elizabeth Warren at 12%, and Joe Biden at 41%. South Carolina is an early primary state, the fourth to vote just after Iowa, New Hampshire, and Nevada. Harris spent a lot of time there in the first months of her campaign.